TJ said that we should play our jingle.
When you need a mortgage, don't stress at all. Just tune right in and give these guys.
Good morning, YouTube. Today is Friday, June 26th. And by the sounds of it, it sounds like Tommy's son wants us to play a game. I don't know, Anth.
Yeah.
What's going on, boys?
I don't know. I think you broke up there. We don't even know what you said. We don't even know what you said there.
That's internet for you.
What's happening? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Anth. What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? What's happening? Happy Friday. Glitching a little bit this morning.
Oh, we're just having all kinds of internet problems this morning. So we'll let the internet get caught up with us for a second. I think it's working here soon.
Yeah, we're all good. I'm hearing you now. Got both of you moving around, weighing.
Good. That's technology, but we're back. We're here Friday, sad evening on the USA front, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're talking all interest rates on this Friday today, because in this market, in this world, in real estate, interest rates are talked about a lot, but we never get into the weeds deeply of what it means for a buyer and the options a buyer has when they're going through the mortgage process. And their interest rate, Tom, isn't automatically locked in. It's not automatically a number that they just want. There's a process to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And typically that process starts with the interest rate when you get an accepted sales agreement on a home, because we do need that accepted offer to have a specific address to lock in an interest rate. You can't just lock in a rate off of pre-approval because the interest rate is specific to a home address. So that is the most important start, and that is the kicker to this whole thing, is getting the actual contract and under agreement. Even if you were quoted, 6% a few months ago, you can still have an increase of rates if you don't get your offer accepted by that time frame. So I just had one yesterday. We pre-approved them back in April. Rates were a little bit better, but now rates are increased a little bit, as we know, over the last few months. We're sitting about 6.5. And unfortunately, I just can't lock in that rate that I gave them at pre-approval because the rates have shifted and moved. If they went down, we could have got them a lower rate, but that's kind of just the general basics of when you can get that rate going.
And that is an APR of 6.72 there on that interest rate we got. But yes, Tom is very importantly saying every buyer's rate is specific to them. There is not just one West Penn Financial interest rate. There's multiple factors that go into the interest rate. How long do we have to lock the rate in? What is the buyer's credit score? What type of mortgage program? All of those factors go into it. And Anth, when we're talking about the interest rate lock, the idea for the loan officer is we are going to lock that rate to make it to the closing on the sales contract. Because the longer you lock the rate, the more expensive the rate can be, or the rate could go up. So there's really no reason, if you're closing in 30 days, you would not do a 60-day lock. That's going to be more expensive for the client.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it the nail on the head. I mean, once we get the agreement of sale, we are locking it in based on the time that we need to process, underwrite, complete that loan to make sure that you're closing on the date specified on the agreement of sale or sooner. So yes, if we lock it, say, on a 38-day, that pricing is going to be different than locking it on a 53-day lock. So it doesn't expire, stops changing up or down. So it's very important that we have the correct information and that you're asking the right people about the interest rates. Talk to your lender, talk to your loan officer. Hopefully it's one of us. but they're the only ones that can actually give you that info. So it's very important that you talk to them, understand how it works, and when the right time to lock in is going to be. Definitely after you get an accepted offer, though.
And let's talk about what happens. Okay, you don't close on time, seller's not ready, listing agent didn't do the die test, whatever it may be. If you're not closing on time and we have a scenario that your rate is going to expire, that's when you have to do what's called a rate extension. A rate extension is when we extend your interest rate for a certain amount of days to now make it to closing. But Tom, that is a cost. It's per day. Let's say it could be $20 per day.
That's cheap. I would say that's very cheap. I mean, I just had one that was $43 a day and the loan amount was only $205,000. So, you know, $43.50 a day on only $200,000. That's pretty much our medium sales price or loan amount, you know, going on right now. So, you know, as you tick up into the 500,000s, you know, that could be 2.5 times that 43. Now you're sitting at $100 a day. So yes, very costly.
And the big question is, who's going to pay that cost? Is it automatically go to the buyer? Is the lender going to cover it? Which, why would the lender cover a cost that it wasn't their response? Is it a real estate agent? Is it a real estate broker? Is it the seller? That is a cost getting added on to the mortgage because we have to extend the rate. We can't simply let a rate expire and relock it the next day. There's waiting periods that you have to wait if a rate expires. If a rate expires, then you might have a buyer out there with no interest rate. You can't lock them in, and now you can't close for 30 days. That would be an awful, disastrous scenario. That's why we have to extend to get you to closing. So in this market, please, 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 as Anthony has said for years now, make us part of the transaction. Do the pre-offer huddle. If we're getting the closing and we're not going to close in time, bring us in. Let's talk about the rate, because it is a market that this needs to be talked about, and buyers and agents need to understand what's going on with the interest rate.
Yeah, and absolutely. Typically, when the loan doesn't close on time, yes, there are things that are outside your control, but it's usually somebody's fault to why it didn't get to the table. To be quite frank, it's somebody's fault because we're all in this together. So whether the title company dropped the ball, maybe they cover the rate extension, the listing agent didn't get a die test in time, they should cover it out of their commission. Something on the buy agent side that they didn't do properly for their buyer and let them know, maybe they pay it out of their commission. Buyers sometimes didn't file tax returns. It could take them a few weeks to get tax returns. Probably the buyer's fault because they missed their tax deadline. So yes, and always we as the lender, we will take full responsibility if we did something on our end to pay for the rate lock extension. Absolutely. But it usually goes to whose fault it was that it didn't close on time, and that's who pays it.
Well said, Thomas. Perfectly said. And Anth, really, when it comes down to it, just don't be shocked. How often do we see real estate agents shocked about what is this extension fee? Like they don't know what the interest rate is or how it works at all. So just don't be shocked if a lender talks about an extension fee if the loan doesn't close on time.
Yeah, I mean, nobody should really be shocked. I mean, if it's supposed to close on a specific day and the closing date extends to a later date, everything else is going to extend with it, the rate being one of those items. So it is what it is. There's nothing anybody can do about it. If it's not the lender's fault, the lender should not be picking up the cost for a rate extension while everybody else is breezing in the wind. Okay. If, you know, like Tom said, I couldn't said it any better. Whoever's fault it is should be picking up that rate lock extension. It shouldn't come back to the lender like, why are you charging the client another $400? Well, we shouldn't have to eat that cost to extend that rate when we locked it in based on the agreement of sale that was already put in place for a specific day. Not our fault, and there are extension costs to go with it. So, or we can let it expire and lock them under current rates, which could be higher. So, I mean, it's better to extend than locking under current rates, especially in a higher rate environment.
And we just are here to protect our buyers. We don't want buyers to just automatically get added on fees if it's not their responsibility. Of course, if they're not closing on time and it's their responsibility, it's their fee. But great talk. I think this should get a lot of the cobwebs out of everyone's head when it comes to interest rates. It is a movable market right now, so you got to pay attention. Rates are not always moving positively either. We keep having this misconception that rates are only going to go down here. We've had good days and bad days. So talk to us when you're ready to get your rate locked in, and we will guide you in the right direction. Have a great weekend, fellas.
See you guys.
Boys.
Tom, Ryan, and Anthony, oh, they know best.